we're not like other teammates. We want to win this championship for Jaguar.
With what I'm doing, I've never really spoken about it publicly. First collaboration or project's been with Alex Albon Athletics, which was a shoe brand.
Judging driver talent is all like perspective.
Why are you guys called Kiwis?
What do you think?
If you're from New Zealand, you're a Kiwi.
It's like if you're from Portugal, you're called Antonio.
Hey everyone, we're here for the second episode of Shaping Legends, a podcast in collaboration between Apex and the Crown creators. We're here in Monaco, in particular in the ACM, the Automobile Club of Monaco, who we really want to thank for giving us the honor of hosting us, in particular to our good friend Majdi, who made this happen. You know, we couldn't ask for better, so let's get this started.
Welcome, guys. We have Formula E drivers, Mitch Evans and Nick Cassidy here, and yeah, it's amazing to see that we have the racetrack of Monaco right in front of the location. You guys are racing there in 1 week. So yeah, happy to have you guys. Welcome. Yeah, so how did we all get here, Antonio?
I think this is a very special episode for many reasons. Firstly, I think there's a lot of friendships here, and I think this would be a very interesting one for that. And we should all talk about a bit why and how we know each other. And maybe I want to ask, both of you. You're both from Auckland. You're both, having a very similar career, fighting eye to eye and now teammates. But maybe you can start by telling us a bit, how do you guys first met, and how you guys came together, and why we're all here.
Well,
Do you want me to start, or you?
I'm happy to jump in as the guest.
Yeah, mate, go for it.
Just say, super happy to be on the show. Love what you're both doing with Apex and Crown Creators. As you say, like a few friendships that have lasted a while. Mitch, we've known each other since we were 6, karting and things, and Antonio, we've met a few years ago, and I must say you've really changed over the years. There's been a really impressive journey that you've gone on. I remember you, the guy who was always getting us into, the special restaurants, the little bars, in London and stuff. You had the little stories.
What stories?
Well, I was just going to move into like even at race events, you're always the guy getting the special tickets and everything, and now there's none of that. Which
yeah, now
How was the tennis, just before we go any further?
The tennis event, I have to say, guys.
Yeah, actually, we are here also because it was the final of the tennis of Monte Carlo.
Exactly. So, nothing like seeing a tennis event 50 meters from a TV, I have to say, is an experience, because you feel the crowd. It's important, but you're not in the crowd. So, like anything in life, it was our choice. So we're proud to say that we didn't go, because we made a very smart decision on giving up for tickets that...
You're helping other people out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
which is kind.
And then we'll probably cut this part, but then we did try to get them back, and we didn't.
Yeah. Fun fact, Antonio told me to come to Monaco first to a podcast, but then he told me, why don't you come on Saturday? So we go to the tennis together. And then I also work with Carlos Sainz on social media with my agency. I spoke with him, and I might go to Monaco to film my podcast with you guys. And then he told me, man, I'm going to be there as well. So, okay, let's go on Friday. I went biking with him, and he told me, man, do you have the tickets sorted out? And I think Antonio has everything.
And that's where we're
But yeah, yesterday I ended up going to the tennis, but yeah, it was tricky. We have to say that all the guys were missing out of tickets yesterday. So.
But we're here in Monaco, and we're doing the most important part, right? So
I feel bad. I've jumped in on your podcast, and the first thing I've mentioned is that.
Doesn't matter, man. Let's keep it real. So
no, but you guys were racing. You guys were racing this weekend, no?
Yeah, we just got back late last night. We had race in Misano, which I personally don't really want to talk about. Nick had a good result. He got a podium yesterday. So,
being honest, for both of us, it was frustrating.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's a tough weekend. But yeah, back late last night, and now ready to look forward.
But yesterday you did P3, no?
P3 yesterday, and Mitch was pole Saturday. So.
And you're not happy with?
It's weird. You've got two competitive guys here, I think, who are just wanting more. Last year we fought for the championship together. This year seems a bit more difficult at the moment, so we're both wanting more. That's natural to say, I think.
Yeah, I think like we've noticed that some other teams have made like good progress. We started off really strongly as a team. We're still leading the teams, right?
Yeah.
But it's definitely not started the way we would have liked. And some other teams like Porsche and Nissan, they've like really upped their game. So we know we've got a massive fight on our hands, and yeah,
we're up for it.
We're up for the challenge. But it's gonna be a bit of a dogfight between now and the end of the year.
And maybe before we dive in there a bit, can you guys explain to us a little bit, sort of, maybe your career, but how you guys progressed all the way, and then of course you guys in both informally explain us a little bit about the championship. I mean, of course everyone has a good idea, but I think nothing like you guys to really give us really your view or where Formula E is today and where you think that's going to go.
I mean, I've been in Formula E since 2016, so I was doing GP2 before that. So yeah, up until that point I was only driving combustion engines, like everyone else. And then the opportunity came about to go into Formula E. Jaguar was coming back into motorsport after obviously a big drought out of after being obviously in Formula 1 before that. So it caught my attention, and then once I got the opportunity to race for them, I came in at the very early stages, so like season 3 of the championship, and obviously the progression since then has been huge, from cars, from just popularity, drivers, apart from us too, but honestly it's growing a lot, and we're trying our best to keep continuing to grow the championship. But the transition initially was quite unique. The technology difference between electric mobility and combustion engine is quite a big change. And even now we're still like learning loads, right? I've been in the category for like 7-8 years, and it's like every weekend we're learning things about this tech. But it's a cool championship, right? Like we're racing in the hearts of city centers around the world, and I'm enjoying it. It's a tough category, but it's been enjoyable, right? And you came in a couple of years after me.
It's nice to hear that you're enjoying it, because for the last couple of weekends.
On a whole, on average, I'm enjoying it. But recently it's been frustrating.
But we've known each other a very long time, obviously. I mean, Mitch and I met when we were 5-6 years old, karting together, right? And so I think when we went to cars, we kind of went similar pathways in the beginning. Not always racing against each other, and you've gone to Europe a bit earlier than I have. Obviously, your relationship with Mark, you doing GP3, things like that. I still remember like sleeping in your place in Aylesbury, right?
Yeah.
Playing tennis together, getting a few wins over you.
I've not seen one win yet.
I saw you playing tennis on your YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, horrendous.
Yeah. You play a bit of tennis as well, no?
Laughing.
I play a little bit.
Yeah.
And paddle. You also play
paddle, yeah.
Well,
I'm paddle. I think
shocking.
Yeah.
How bad was my tennis? Bad.
I don't know if it was almost the cameraman won against you, no?
Yeah. It's good to know you're one of my 400 views.
I had to do some research.
Yeah.
But yeah, then when you've gone Formula E, that's kind of how I learned about it. I still remember, like, back in the day when Formula E started, I was at crossroads in my career. I wasn't sure where to go next, how to get a drive. I wasn't proven at all. Didn't have much experience. Actually, Mitch's father, just before you went to Formula E, your dad told me to go to Formula E. So you should look at Formula E. I was first kicking off. And it's interesting how it's all played out,
Yeah.
I went to Japan. We obviously kept in touch for a while. I spent 6 years there, but then knew a lot about FE from speaking with you guys, and seeing you on occasional trips, watching the races. It's been pretty cool to be part of the championship now.
And now you guys are teammates, right? You've sort of been competitors, and you are in your heart, and you compete each other. And sometimes it's good to not mix both. It's always a bit more dangerous, right? You're friends, you're competing, but as a teammate, that's your real opponent in motorsports, right? Because there's always difference between cars, and so that's sort of, you're always feeling, if my car is shit, let me at least beat my teammate, but now your teammate is and you guys are really good friends. And so how are you managing that? I mean, I'm sure there hasn't been, or there has, I don't know, any tough moment, but I'm knowing you guys, I don't think so, but it's never easy. How did you guys react with having such a good friend as a teammate for the first time, I guess?
It's funny you mentioned this, because the amount of times we've been asked this since we've been teammates, we've actually almost started to refuse to answer the question, because it's been like so much attention around us becoming teammates. We've actually been teammates before, back in New Zealand, in 2011. So it's nothing new, but obviously at this level it's new. And there's definitely there's something within the championship trying to create a rivalry between myself and Nick. But we know we know how to play at the moment, in terms of we obviously want to beat each other. It's normal, but we're not like other teammates where you're really trying to beat them, and we're trying to help each other basically, and help the team. We want to win this championship for Jaguar. But it's funny, there's been a lot of attention around us to try and make us crack. And yeah, it's not going to happen. We're too solid for that to happen. But yeah, man, we're so sick of being asked about it.
But Nick was laughing when you were talking about this, so
Yeah,
you must have something to say about it.
Yeah, because yesterday I was in the media pen, and I was like, oh, it's a bit weird. Mitch didn't come say well done. And then I was back at the box, and he walked straight past me. So okay. And then we went to the car, and I'm like, dude, are you angry at me? What have I done? He's like, man, I'm just pissed off. Oh, okay.
No, I think that's one big thing is I was pretty pissed off yesterday. But I think we're really trying, we don't want, stuff to come between us. So we're quite protective of that.
I don't know how you guys find it in business. I think it's almost similar to sport, but obviously you have your own companies, but when you work with friends or you get comfortable with those around you, I find it easier in stressful moments to be really direct and really strong.
I completely agree. I mean, I guess if it's well managed, it can be even for the good, right?
Yes.
Normally speaking,
it's easy to let it not be well managed, right?
Exactly. So it can be more dangerous. And as you know, with Apex, we're 4 really good friends as co-founders, and Pedro and I see each other every day, and and we actually use it for the best. I think I'm much better with him around me, and I think so is he. But I know that was my biggest fear when we began Apex, was exactly the friendship risk.
Yeah,
it's actually been for the best, really. And we've learned. We've had tough conversations, which you always need to have at the beginning, which is important. Which I'm glad we did. Just setting the tone, understanding who's doing what for what, how everything is sort of worth or not worth. But but once that is there, it's why we are here, and why I think we've been quite successful. But yes, if not managed properly, and if you're not adults about it, it can ruin relationships. So that is always a big, and I guess with you two and with Jaguar, traditionally speaking, it can be dangerous. But again, knowing you guys, it can actually be an even more powerful sort of partnership between you two as a team.
Yeah,
that there's that friendship rather than just another 2 guys that again pushing each other, but at the end of the day don't have dinner together, don't really talk about it, don't open up about what they're feeling with or not, without the car. So completely agree.
To be honest, I even find it with engineers or mechanics in my team. It's sometimes you can be really strong, you say things really straight, and if they don't know you, it's easily taken the wrong way. Whereas I kind of say to our guys, I'm like, the reason I'm being like this is actually because I'm comfortable with you guys and I trust you. If I wasn't, you're always reserved, right? So
Exactly.
it should be a positive in a way.
Yeah, 100%. It's like a roller coaster of ups and downs, like on our relationship, I guess. I think we should talk like nowadays there is Formula One, which is also booming, and then we have Formula E that you guys race on same tracks or similar tracks around the world, but on a completely different car. Can you guys explain, like, as a driver, what are the most different things that Formula One and Formula E has?
I mean, I think there's always like huge comparisons between Formula One and Formula E, but they're so different as well. There's different purposes behind the championship. Obviously, there's massive sustainability push. I mean, I know there's an F1, but there's a big, it's kind of at the core of Formula E. The road relevance, it's all about, being, carbon net zero, and, obviously the automotive industry is kind of developing at a very similar rate to Formula E. So for companies like Jaguar and stuff, it's really important. But for us, like to compare to F1 is it's just to show some of the differences. Like we've got, a different powertrain between manufacturers, but a lot of common components. We've got road tires, we've got no downforce. We've got one little electric small motor to power it. So like the performance difference is huge. And electric mobility's got the capability of being like, in the future as quick as Formula One, if the budgets kind of allow for it. I think the beauty about Formula E compared to Formula One is how competitive it is in terms of how close it is. But obviously F1 is so spectacular in terms of how fast it is. The cars now are like seriously quick. We've actually never had the opportunity to drive F1, but we, driving Super Formula GP2, you get a small idea, but F1's like at another level. So, but yeah, so I can't really compare it like for like, but they're both super competitive, but just in different ways. Yeah, I don't know if you got anything to like elaborate on, but
No, I think you raised a lot of good points. I mean, it's really hard to compare the two individual products in a way. You could say that they're targeting the same audience, but I think that there's the room for motorsport fans to enjoy both for sure. Naturally, you're not always going to get completely the same audience because you got those hardcore fans who love the noise, the smell, etc., performance. But I think as a racing product, Formula E, 80-90% of the time have it pretty good. It's pretty exciting to watch. There's practice, qualifying, race on the same day. So even being at the event, it's quite nice because it's action packed. So yeah, they're different products, but I think both have room in the world to succeed, and for sure, it's probably a bit more growth opportunity in Formula E from where it's currently standing than F1. F1's booming. It's awesome to see. I mean, I think we all love motorsport, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't want F1 to be smaller. We enjoy watching it. In the end, we just want F1 to be bigger.
Yeah. No, and I guess what you're saying on the competitiveness, right? If you look at the level of drivers at FE level, I mean, the other day I don't remember who it was, one of the F1 drivers saying that pretty much all the grid is F1 material, right? In terms of there's just as we all know, there's a lot of politics in the sport. It's a sport which is not easy to get in. Not anyone can just go in a car, right? It's not like getting a ball and playing football. It's a completely different thing. That there's sponsorships, manufacture, a lot of political stuff. But going into just the level of drivers, it's incredible, and I would say if not the best, one of the best in the world in terms of how equal, pretty much the best to the worst. How is that for you guys as drivers, right? Being so competitive, knowing that if you're just not there that day, it can be the difference between third or first to not even top 10. I guess that makes you guys better. But do you think this is something that that will then allow FE to just always be there and get better, or do you think that eventually as well F1 will just have that top 20 very balanced? Because right now between us four here, there isn't that balance in F1.
Well, it's a really hard question, I think, because in the end, it's always a matter of opinion, I believe. It's really hard to judge, right? And in the end, you never know really the difference between talent levels, etc. But I think it more goes back to even where the world is with technology, and like even when it comes to software, machine learning, things like that. It's making sports more perfect, especially motorsport. Everything's getting way, way closer because everything's a lot more optimized. But the way I look at it is, instead of, and it's kind of similar on drivers, if you get everyone super even and super close, it almost becomes boring because it's so hard to make a difference. I'm not saying you want a grid that's really spread apart, because then you have dominance and it's a bit, the opposite. But also when you have people so close and teams and everything so close, strategies always optimized. It's hard to make the sport an exciting product. So it's a bit of a strange view, but even F1, they have such great tire understanding now and strategy understanding that to actually get someone doing a really different strategy is quite rare in F1 these days, because it's so optimized. So I don't know how you can ever unlearn things or make that more difficult going forward to make the product more exciting again, because it's just where this sport is going with all the technology available now.
Yeah, on that one, and this is more, clearly, as you're saying, it makes it more balanced because everything becomes more technical, but then there's the pure racing side of it. Would you say, and this is a bit more for racing in general, do you think it's becoming easier on a pure racing level but tougher because all around there's so many things that you guys are doing at the same time, which is impressive. A lot of people don't know, and going for the more basic or general fans, knowing that you guys are not just driving, right? There's so many things that you guys are doing. I mean, sometimes you guys tell me, and I've been around it, and I don't understand how you guys can do it. But do you think it's becoming really tougher there, but easier on the sort of the pure racing side that we all sort of know from or even there it's still very tough, or it's a bit of both? How do you guys see it going in the future in terms of would you rate a driver? Is it how good he is on the technical side, or doing everything at once, or just a pure racer at the end of the day?
I think that's a really, really difficult question to answer because, almost what Nick touched on, I feel like judging driver talent is all perspective. Yeah. At the end of the day, it depends on what they can do with their machine. But even in Formula One, it's really difficult to rate certain drivers because of the team they're in. Who is the best? Yeah. And it's just going to be that answer that question will never be able to be answered perfectly because everyone's got their own opinion. You see it in other sports as well, right? In football and stuff, who is the best? Everyone's got their own idea. But I think in motorsport, there's so many different variables. There's so many different aspects to our sport that kind of dictate your results. So you don't really know. No one really knows where everyone stacks up. I mean, you see it when drivers change teams, when drivers change categories. We've had many guys from F1 come into Formula E and really struggle. Yeah. We've had
guys who are not so good at karting and then they go to the formulas and
And how do you guys train and prepare for all this? Do you do a lot of training outside, physical training, but also do you have a simulator? How do you guys prepare for this? And do you also, since you are in Formula E, you never touch a combustion car anymore? Or how do you guys train?
Yeah, I mean, since I joined Formula E, I haven't driven a combustion, apart from on the road. But
you've never done a test or anything, right?
Nothing at all. So I've probably forgotten how to change gears or something. But in terms of preparation, it's quite standard, I would say, and it's probably a little bit more on the simulator side compared to other categories. Mainly because of how complex now the Formula E car is. We get really limited testing. Some of the tracks you go on are really unique. most of them are, can be new. So it's a lot of it's learning all the procedures, because we've got different power levels, we've got all the energy management in the race. So it's more that type of preparation for the engineers mainly, I would say. But for us, if it's a new track, physical training, I think I can always do better. When I was in like F2 and stuff, I was in really good condition. Formula E is not so physically demanding. Some tracks are, but it's not like F1 level. But it's more on the technical side, the mental side. I would say that has the biggest impact.
It's like, how do you prepare a race? Do you feel the need of doing something prior to the race? Like, how do you guys face a race weekend on this side?
Well, we have a lot of simulator work, I would say. So we're with the team. They're based in near Oxford in the UK. The week before, talking with the engineers, doing a bit of sim, and that I think is the main preparation. We're understanding what we need from the car from the next track. But then when it comes to ourselves, I think like you guys say, me, it's almost got to a stage with training where it's just feeling good every day. You don't do physical activity for a while, and I feel like that shit. But it's not really for, I think, performance level on FE. It's more the performance comes from the work with the team.
And you guys have like a boost button or something like this on the Formula E, or like...
We have attack mode now. So it's been for a while, but you basically have 8 minutes of extra power during the race.
And it's the same power that we use in the duels and qualifying. So our race power is 300 kilowatts, and then the attack mode or the higher power is 350 kilowatts.
And it's like crazy different, or...
Yeah, yesterday it was with the bigger straights and where the cars can really unleash, let's say. But on the street tracks, it becomes quite hard to use that power. Like the cars have a lot of acceleration, not that much grip. So
and then going into a bit, changing topic here, but going into, lifestyle. You guys are both living in Monaco, of course, where we are. I was, here this week and enjoying a lot of free time in the weekend. But but definitely it's an incredible place. The amount of people are just bumping into, right? So.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know. You were laughing.
But how is it, for you guys, on the lifestyle, living here? Of course, there's the obvious reason why all athletes are here. But I mean, do you guys enjoy it? Give us an example of sort of what you guys are doing during the week when you're off. Would you see yourselves living anywhere else, maybe except for, of course, back home? But tell us a bit more about living in Monaco.
Well, I think you've been here probably 3-4 years more than I have. I really enjoy it. I mean, we're both from New Zealand, obviously, but it's so far away that we're kind of lucky that when we come to Europe, it makes it a bit easier to choose where to live, because I think if you're in Portugal, Spain, UK, to come to Monaco for fiscal purposes or lifestyle purposes, there's not an easy choice, because you're always leaving family, right? Whereas we're apart from our family anyway, so it makes it easier. But saying that, I think naturally we both really enjoy it here. The weather's super good, small kind of town feeling, but a lot of nice places, good lifestyle. I must say I'm really enjoying it. Being based in London or Tokyo, bigger cities before, I love those cities from networks of people being close, of being able to walk to public transport or restaurants or activities. And I think in a strange way, you kind of have that here because it's small. So I like that. I don't know what you'd say.
Yeah, honestly, I'm enjoying it way more than I was expecting. I've been here like 4 or 5 years now, and it's great. Like, it's just a really good atmosphere here. You've got a good mix of professional athletes from all different disciplines, like cyclists, obviously a lot of F1 guys, FE guys, tennis players, which I'm sure you met a lot on the weekend.
A lot, especially around. Around, yeah.
And then you obviously got more the other side, which is, like ex-business owners or current business owners that are obviously extremely wealthy. But just generally, it's a very safe place. Obviously, it's got one of the best tracks in the world. But yeah, it's difficult for us in a way. It's easy because we need somewhere to live in Europe, so it's kind of a little bit easier to choose. But obviously, on the other hand, like you guys are from Europe, so you guys can go home super easily. Where for us to go home, it's like it takes a day.
For me, it's the first time in Monaco, and I really enjoyed it here. Like,
That's your first time?
yeah, it
Oh,
was my first time.
Okay.
But I came here, and the energy is like you feel that you breathe sports everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. True.
since I arrived,
But
and
you're based in Madrid normally, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm based in Madrid.
Yeah.
But Carlos, like I saw Carlos and I told him, man, this place is amazing. Like I love it. Like you go cycling, like the sun is out, you see all the young people doing sport. Like we came out from the hotel and we saw Lando. Like everyone is around, and I think it's pretty cool. Like that you are able to live like all together here and maybe train together and things like this. So it's
And then exactly on that side, I mean, even yesterday as I was here, I was thinking, I spend a lot of time here, of course, for a lot of races. I'm close by, and I just love it, and it just makes a lot of sense. And I guess, when we started Apex together, we always thought it was very good that you were here. I mean, we've come here a lot on the athlete side, network side, but business side. Tell us a bit, guys, and maybe Mitch, we can start with you. Again, being a co-founder of Apex, and it's been amazing 3 years, and I know you've always had this.
Oh, it's 3 years already for you guys.
A bit more, yeah.
More, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Just
3.5.
That's
it's been incredible. And I know we talked. We've known each other for many years now, and why we started this together. But we've always had these conversations. But what's been your experience, right, with being a co-founder of Apex, in Monaco, the amount of athletes you've brought in the network because of being here. But tell us a bit more as well, what you've learned, what has been your experience, what got you excited in the beginning, right? Because all of us, we had a vision, but an initial idea of what but at the end of the day, we sort of went with it. I think that's the beauty of it. But how was it when you thought about it, and how do you see it now, and what have you sort of really learned from it?
Yeah, I mean, it's gone really quickly, right? 3.5 years since we kind of put pen to paper with. I mean, it was your idea. Obviously, we've been friends for many years, and I mean, even to get the opportunity to come on board initially was amazing. It was an area that I've honestly never really involved in terms of the venture capital, private equity world. Was I barely knew what those meant. I did some small investments before that, like just property back in New Zealand, and but I was starting to think like, okay, what's next for me? Nick's always been quite into the stock market, and maybe a little bit ahead of me in terms of investing, but I was like, okay, what can I do next? And there was no real access, so I didn't really know where to go. I was just a bit inexperienced in that field. So obviously the timing of Apex and what you kind of presented to me and Antonio was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want, is getting access to off-market deals, involving sports, tech, entertainment. It was just like, okay, this is come at a really perfect time. So yeah, obviously for me it was like a no-brainer. Yeah. But where that journey would lead me afterwards was, it's obviously been, the growth has been, incredible. I've learned so much, and I've got so much more to learn. But just being obviously with your experience, with the Pedro's experience, yeah, just some of the deals I've been across. At the start, I was on calls with companies that were wanting money, and I hardly knew what to ask. Where now, after quite a few investments, just being on calls with you guys, you start to understand, okay, how the business works. I started watching, like, it sounds probably a bit cheesy, but I started really watching like Shark Tanks and even like Billions and these kind, just to really start to, because you kind of get a bit of an idea for it, and you start to want to learn more. So generally, it's been honestly the best thing I outside of motorsport, the best thing I've ever done. Unfortunately, you're involved, so it's a bit tricky.
Nothing is perfect.
Yes, I can't be perfect, but you know.
But and then being in Monaco, this is something again, and then we can go with Nick, and again, clearly you're a great example as well of an entrepreneurial athlete, which in has positively surprised, I have to say. When I first saw you, I thought you didn't know much, and honestly, a great example. But again, being in Monaco, seeing all these athletes, I'm sure now that it's more common for people to talk a bit more about investing. Of course, you guys are more mature, you're in a better position financially. But have you felt that now more generally athletes are curious and asking about investing? I mean, clearly we see it, but being here firsthand in Monaco with so many athletes around, and have you just felt this athlete entrepreneurial movement really growing?
Yeah, I think globally, right?
Yeah.
I think in America it's very big within NBA, NFL, and I've seen a massive just in the last few years. So the timing of Apex was really strong, but yeah, I think the mentality of an athlete is really changing. They want to be involved in business. They want to prolong their financial kind of passive income beyond their career. We know that our careers are not super long, so to have a purpose, have different income streams post career is that's kind of the reason why we want to do it, right? And I think there's a lot of there's a lot of things that we can kind of carry across from our experience in the motorsport world that there's a lot of synergies basically between business and I think high level sport. So it's obviously just trying to find and mix the two. And obviously Nick's been he's one of the, in terms of some of the athletes that I've been around, and one of the most guys that they've been onto it from early stage. And maybe you can touch a bit on what you've been up to. And
I'm quite curious because everybody says Nick has a lot of entrepreneurship background, content creation, so a lot of things happening.
I think you guys have put the expectation level way too high, but I mean right from the start I've been I wouldn't say a big supporter, but I've loved seeing what you guys are doing with Apex. It's hard for me to support more than in a small way, but I'm certainly very vocal on it. Antonio, other founder, DaCosta, co-founder with you guys, done some chats with him on Instagram, etc., speaking about it. And I think more and more athletes in the world are starting to understand that their careers are only X long, as Mitch touched upon, and to get involved in something that's going to, from an investment point of view, help them post-career. I think a lot of people realize, hey, this is something that we almost have to do, or it's certainly a great option to do. And I think that's because at the moment, there's so many athletes out there with profiles who can, it's essentially the business model of Apex, right? Help companies through their voice in a way, through who they are. And the almost tough thing about being an athlete and this industry is that you're limited, or in your own mind, you think that you're limited to what you can do because you want to be focused on your sport 100%. But the reality is that for 90% of athletes out there, post-sport, post your career, you're irrelevant. And so now's the time to get involved and really make that impact. And so I think, looking at what Apex does by presenting opportunities and bringing in athletes to make a difference in certain industries is really powerful. It's becoming more and more common. And then I think, with what I'm doing, I've never really spoken about it publicly, but essentially is trying to help athletes become more entrepreneurial. And that means by creating their own brands from a merchandise or product point of view, understanding who their audience is and what they can do with their audience. So I think, you guys are really looking at it from an investment and, media perspective, which is mega. And then I'm more on helping them build their own brands. But it's an interesting time.
Can you talk about anything in specific that you've done, or you want to sort of?
Yeah, well, it's still very new. I'm less than less than 12 months into this journey, so I've got a lot to learn. Our first collaboration or project's been with Alex Albon, starting Alex Albon Athletics, which was a shoe brand, then touching into his merchandise for this year. And so that's been, pretty fun. More working on, the supply chain side, the systems, more the back end.
Yeah.
It's been a huge job the last 12 months. It sounds really weird to say, but spend more time and effort on this business than almost my own career, which has been quite tough. But
that's what you were saying.
It's been a lot of fun.
But that's what you were saying, and so just you two, you as co-founder of Apex and spending the time to spend there, and and you doing what you did over the last 12 months, and you were both fighting for the championship last year, right? So again, I'm not saying every athlete should manage his time his own way, but there's time to do it, and you guys are a good example. You can compete, you can be at your best, in your sport, and still, work on other things. It doesn't have to be sort of sport, win, and then let me start later. Not only because of timing, as you said, but also there's 24 hours in a day. And
Exactly.
This is something that I always try to tell athletes is you can do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it on your own, do it with other people. Be smart about how you do it and where you do it, but you can, and it is not a reason why you're not going to compete,
And to be honest, like with Apex and investment opportunities, it's the easiest way because you still focus on your sport. You're not involved in the day-to-day, but you're having access, right? I'm probably taking on a bit of a different role and a lot more hours work. But I think that's the beauty of what you guys are doing, and athletes in a way. Sometimes it's hard to make guys understand that reading an email or sending a text is actually not that difficult, compared to what else out there. But
you might have something that motivates you to do that, no? Or
yeah, I mean, for me, it's I'm big on routine. I'm big on keeping myself busy. For sure, it can go too far. I've really worked at the moment this year trying to put people in place around me to take the pressure off during race weeks and let me focus on my sport.
do you have a team that is helping you with that? Or
Just our company, we're slowly growing. I think we're up to 6 people now, and it just means
Nice.
that I've got decent support. That on a race week, we're operating. We're still moving forwards, and that's been super important. I'm super lucky right now.
Nice. Yeah, I think if you're like being an entrepreneur or something like trying to build anything, I think it always will lead you to something else. If not, I launched the Crown Creators, the content creation agency and creative agency. But before I had like a ski clothing brand where we used to sponsor like athletes from Finland, skiers that used to do freestyle skiing and all this. So it's like, and after my company, I went to Real Madrid to work at Real Madrid, and then I launched the Crown Creators. And I always say, if I didn't build this clothing company, like spending the time with those skiers, like working on the clothing, working on the sponsorship, working on the social media and all this, I wouldn't have succeeded with the Crown Creators as it is today. So it's like, I think every step leads you to something else, and if you don't continue like growing and growing, you don't move.
Yeah.
So it's
But this is, I was in the US this week, and I don't want to shift the conversation too much into that, but talking about the different cultures approach, and in the US when you're an entrepreneur, and let's say or let's go start by Europe. If you're a guy that started 2-3 companies and it didn't go well, you're known a bit more as a loser, right? And when people talk to you, or be careful with that guy, he started 3 businesses and didn't go so well. That's the initial reaction, I would guess. In the US, it's, that guy's a doer, he's trying the 3rd time, so there's a higher chance this 4th time, let's bet on him because he's done it wrong 3 times.
Yeah, right.
So just looking at the learnings from losing rather than the other side of this guy's a bit more of a loser again, but is something that we should, I guess, at least out here in Europe, learn from the Americans. But it's what you were saying, Guzman, exactly.
yeah, 100%.
Do you still have your clothing company?
No, like this company, we closed it like almost bankrupt.
But you take all the learnings and you
like
move to the
7
next
years
thing,
ago.
right?
Right.
But we had everything to make it succeed. Like I had even the founder of the North Face as an advisor in the company. We were producing all the outerwear like in the factories from the North Face, and we had everything to succeed. But looking at the market of ski companies like K2, Armada, all these companies were bought by investment funds like every X amount of years because the numbers were like a bit red. So at that moment I had to decide like with my partner, we continue with this or I continue with my career. So I ended up working for GoPro, and when I ended up in GoPro, I was like, okay, I close this company and I move on. You know, so sometimes I think you need to see also like, okay, how far am I going with this? And I think we did the right decision. Is for me that was like an MBA. Like people go to do an MBA, and I respect that. But for me, my best investment was to build my own clothing company, learn, spend time with athletes in ski resorts around the world, and learn from that. So
Yeah.
That's cool.
So now maybe to wrap it up, I guess we can do these rapid fire round of questions we have here prepared.
it's quick questions.
All right.
So I can start, and this again goes for both. I think I know the answer for Mitch for this one, but so guys, what is a guilty pleasure you have?
Ice cream.
Hanging out with you.
Is that what you're expecting?
That's exactly what I got.
Any phobias?
Heights.
Any fairs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hides or snakes?
It's crazy. Like you guys race cars and then you're scared of heights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it happens to me. Like I also like can go with a bicycle like super fast on a downhill or like in motocross, but I'm super scared of planes and heights and stuff like this.
Oh, yeah.
But sorry,
No.
I would jump off a plane. I don't know.
You would?
Yeah, I wouldn't stand on the edge of a cliff. I'd jump off a plane.
And when are you doing it?
No, I'm saying like, yeah.
I think I would as well. I mean, the idea of that scares me less. And again, if I'm standing on top of the cliff, I can feel fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Okay, this is also a good one. So if you're doing 800 kilometers or a long walk by foot, which friend would you do it with? And who would you not bring next to you?
I don't know if I'd want to bring Norman or not bring Norman.
Exactly. It's a
You know what I mean? It's a tricky
Norman-
one. Norman Nato, this is, I'm sure many people know who Norman is. It can either be make it go fast or you just want to...
So if you're in a good mood, you'll take him. If you're not in the best of moods, maybe you're like, yeah, this guy can.
Yeah. No, for sure. But I think Antonio,
Yeah, I was gonna say Dak. Yeah.
because he's just always positive, always just full of energy, always something to talk about.
It's okay, man. There's only 99 kilometers to go.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. Yesterday,
He slept on my sofa last night, and he's just like, he's just so easygoing. So, I think not to have Antonio would be a mistake.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Even Tonio had one of the toughest race weekends. Wins the first race after a tough start of the season, gets disqualified.
Yeah.
A few hours later for some fucking bullshit. Next day,
We literally had dinner with him 5 minutes after he found out.
yeah, and he was.
But it's just normal Antonio. He just takes it on the chin. You can tell he's sad, but he's just like,
Yeah,
okay, we go again tomorrow.
exactly.
Where I would take a little bit longer to get to. Okay, I'll go again tomorrow.
Man, I think I was worse than him, and and I was here. We're getting ready for my great tennis day.
Yeah.
So okay.
It's a very tough day for you. I'm for Pedro. No?
Poor Pedro came all the way. Yeah. Brought his tennis racket.
Now we didn't record this, but he did say that the majority of the blame is on Pedro for what happened on Sunday. So I know it wasn't public here, but let's not forget.
He's not here to defend himself, so
Exactly. Let's move on.
would you rather never race again, or have to communicate with others by pigeon forever, sending letters via a bird?
So that it's like you can't talk, or
Like you can't like have a phone or anything.
Basically,
Yeah.
exactly. So you never
No.
race again, or the only way you're gonna communicate.
Honestly, I think the pigeon would be amazing. I wouldn't have to deal with social media or not
So
or WhatsApp or
Racing
anything. You know?
forever. No?
I to be honest, I would drop racing.
Yeah.
You vocally as well. I want to talk to people, right?
But I mean, like literally, you can't even text. You can't even talk.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Ah, okay. Well, no, that changes things.
Yeah, but you say a lot of shit, so I guess.
Yeah.
So
I'll be helping a lot of people.
You will keep racing and you will keep talking.
You'll-
I'll
you'll-
keep talking.
yeah, you do the talking for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is actually a funny one because even I don't know the answer to this one. Maybe I should.
So, let's see how funny it is.
Yeah.
No, not funny, but curious. Why are you guys called Kiwis?
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, I
Maybe
think
you
everyone in Europe thinks it's because of the fruits,
no,
but it's not.
yeah, I would assume it has to be something to do with the fruit.
You guys, you know?
No.
No idea. And you don't know?
No.
It's actually a bird. It's a like it's a
From
bird
New
that
Zealand.
can't fly.
Yeah. Endangered.
Yeah, but they can fly.
No.
They can't fly.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of
But
sense.
Google it. It's like it's a cute little thing, like a really long beak, but it's like super rare in New Zealand. I've never seen one before, but
they
that's why
call
we
you-
call Kiwis.
They call you like this to both of you or to everyone from New
No,
Zealand?
everyone.
No,
in New Zealand.
everyone in New Zealand.
If you're
Everyone
from New
in
Zealand, you're a Kiwi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like if you're from Portugal, you're called Antonio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like your son, Antonio.
exactly.
Does your car have a name? What is it?
I've never named my cars before.
You've talked about it, but you moved from number 20 to number 9.
Yeah, so when I signed with Jaguar back in
Yeah.
2016, I signed super late and they already had to choose a number, so they chose 20.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally, I actually wanted number 4, but it was taken. I wanted number 3, it was taken. And then number 9 was also taken for years. And then number 9 came available a couple of years ago, so I took it.
Oh.
Why did you want number 4?
It's just, it's like the one I've got probably the most connection with. Is the number I've won like the most with in cars. It's pretty much just down to that. There's no like cool story behind it, unfortunately.
This is a very important technical one.
I like these quick fire
Yeah,
questions.
it is.
Antonio, come on, man. Quick questions.
No, this is very important.
keep
Yeah,
up.
This is a very serious one. Is water wet?
Yes.
Last time I checked, it was.
Is that right? Or...
I don't have the answer to that either, but but it's supposedly we
Water
hear
is
it is
not wet.
exactly. It makes things.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, but you guys are a bit more dry, so again, it wouldn't. It's
We
not-
need more water,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
I actually I feel smarter after this conversation.
Who's the coolest person on your close friends' Instagram?
Mitch?
Either yourself.
No, sorry.
So-
So I was passing the question to you.
Oh, right.
I've
It's not you. It's not you, mate.
Thanks, man. I think I've got like 12 people on my close friends, and I barely post on close friends. But it's
Who are they?
Tell me you never post because I don't think I.
you're on my close
I mean,
friends.
your close friends. Okay.
You're on my close friends,
Oh, thanks, man.
but I never post on it.
My close friends this weekend, the videos I was posting was hilarious.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. I'm not on it.
Yeah,
Your teammate is not on it. No? So
To be honest, I don't even use it.
Yeah.
close friends or Instagram?
Close friends.
Close friends. So what's the last show you guys have binged?
Crooked. Show on Netflix called Crooked. Yes,
Isn't it?
I've seen it. I think so.
What is it about?
It might be Spanish. No, it's maybe French.
no idea.
No idea.
Could have been different.
Yeah, don't know.
You watch in English with the voiceover.
Yeah.
and they always use the same people, right? Like when I was watching all the Spanish stuff I watch with the voiceover in English, it's always the same people.
Same,
Same voices, the same voices. Yeah.
And me, I've been I'm like super late to the game, but I've been binging Suits. So I started like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, but because
So good.
Netflix pushed it, because it wasn't on Netflix, and sort of
I think it's just been uploaded right or something, but I've been binging that like pretty hard.
Yeah.
But before that, I watched The Gentleman,
Yeah, Gentlemen.
which is mega.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, it's
awesome.
really good.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie. Yeah.
Nothing to do with sports. You have enough during the day, you know?
Yeah, I mean, last night driving back, feels bad to say this, but I just had my phone with the live stream of Masters golf, so I watched
Yeah.
a bit of the
Yeah.
PGA and that kind of stuff. But
You play golf?
terribly.
I was actually there on a Wednesday, and I did attend.
You got tickets?
Yeah, I did.
To the Masters.
But well, it didn't. It's only started.
I feel like we need proof, right?
Wednesday.
We need proof for this.
No way.
I was there. Well, no, but you can't. You
You
can't
went
get
to
proof.
Augusta last week?
I was on the par 3 contest, which is like when they will go with their families. One of the most incredible experiences I've
That's
seen.
pretty cool.
And but
If
you
you-
can't
like
take,
you-
but you can take your phones. You know that. So you either you leave them at home, or if you drive, you leave it in the car. And if you're
So you got no
caught,
proof.
if you're caught with your phone, I mean, anyone in Augusta can validate this for me. You're banned for life.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
So that's why you can actually get a lot of proximity with the guys and with everything. It's
That's
really
very cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that about.
yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
It was cool. And then maybe last one. What's the last photo you guys have sent via text? And here, there's young kids that sometimes see us. So
Text or WhatsApp?
what's up?
I've got no idea.
Um,
But maybe the one that I sent to the group with. So you played a prank on Norman.
yeah. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't think I've
24
seen.
hours.
I don't think I've seen anything since then.
I sent a screenshot of another conversation to someone else this morning,
To get proof.
just to
Yeah.
show that I'm a funny guy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't believe me.
That's good. Yeah. No, I think you are a
Yeah.
very funny guy.
Are you still shooting your YouTube channel or not?
So we've got a guy in the team who helps me out with that, but social media is something I struggle with in a way because I don't really like spending the time to record or
Yeah.
that kind of thing, but I'm really happy if someone else does. And it's more, I think, I don't have a big audience. I'm not really trying to grow that audience, but there are a couple of people who message nice things and stuff, but it's also for a bit of documentation of my own career. In the future, I find it quite cool to look back on certain moments or certain weekends and have something to show for it. So,
Nice.
yeah, definitely appreciate the view that you gave me, clicking from 400 to 100. That's good.
But that's a good point though. Like I'm really bad on social media, but I think like documenting all the little bits outside of like in between the races, like it's even just maybe going to the track, traveling, a lot of those little moments we kind of forget and take for granted. Where if you're always documenting them, it's good. So I think it's a good idea.
And then, guys, so we have a ritual here at Shaping Legends. Basically, we have the last guest ask a question for the new guests, and the last guest here was Kanoe Igarashi, Japanese surfer, top 10.
Red Bull athlete as
in the
well.
world. Sorry.
The Red Bull athlete as well, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And he basically asked if you guys have ever tried surfing, and if not, why not?
I have in Bali actually with Stoff and Sean. Have you guys ever seen Stoffel with sports?
It's good entertainment, man.
Hilarious. And I've seen him go out, and obviously,
Does it make you cry when you see the guy on a surfboard?
mate,
Before you laugh and you start to cry.
I don't think you actually end up seeing him on the surfboard, which is the funny part. But I've seen him head out but he's had the surfboard like facing kind of 45 degrees upwards straight on, and it's just time over time into a wave. And he couldn't get out there.
So,
So
he
that
was
was-
featured in Cook Slams, no?
Pretty much. Exactly. Yeah, cook of the day.
Cook of the day.
I've surfed a little bit, but not like very well.
Yeah.
I can get up.
You can get up.
I
Okay.
can get up. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's one of the most challenging sports to get to a decent level.
Oh, yeah. For
Like
sure.
in other sports, in skiing, like you can go down a little bit, you know, but in surfing, to start,
Oh man, it's
it's so challenging.
yeah.
So now give us the question you guys would like us to ask the future guest or guests.
What do you go for? Do you have any idea who your next guest is?
Yeah, that may help.
We have 2 or 3 lined up. We have one but we don't know the order, so we don't know if it will be the next.
Maybe a football player, maybe an F1 driver, maybe.
Okay.
What else do we have lined up?
Yeah.
Any other athlete? So
We'll do one question each.
Yeah, okay.
Do they regret missing out on the fun times of university? Genuine question.
do you regret?
Not regret, but I feel like that is such a different lifestyle to what we've lived. And I just kind of, I almost feel not normal.
Yeah. For me,
You're definitely not normal.
to help you out with that, for me, I wonder, I ask me so many times those things, like if I missed out or not, because I obviously didn't miss out
Yeah.
as much as you did, but I certainly, like the last 5 years building everything, like I missed out many things, and I think about it and I don't think you missed like real things. Depends on family and stuff, but I think if you are pushing for someone and for something and you have a passion,
Yeah.
you
My question, if they could start their life again, would they take the same career path?
Would you?
I would take the same career path, I think, but in a different way.
nice. Perfect. So that's a wrap.
That's a wrap, yeah.
That's a wrap. Thanks very much for having us.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Been fun.
Oh, thanks.
No,
thanks
thanks,
guys for
guys.
coming. So super interesting. And I hope maybe we'll go to a race to see them.
No, we will for sure. It's it's a bit
Have
boring.
you
but
been to Formula race before?
No, never.
Okay.
Never.
Can we make that happen?
I've been
2
to
weeks.
Extreme,
Yeah.
Extreme, and
Okay.
F1. But
If you
In
speak
2
to
weeks we
Antonio,
have
I can
one.
get you some tickets and stuff.
Some really good tickets.
I thought the
I'll text you, Antonio.
No
for
worries.
it.
tickets and in Monaco, that's what it is. In 2 weeks, be ready.